Hey there, welcome to It's a Slate of Mind, the entertainment industry's video podcast where we talk about what we're all thinking but don't talk about enough. Today we are talking about overwork and burnout with my very good friend, Thang Ho.
Hello. Today.
Yeah, Thang and I met only a few months ago.
A few months.
But we've worked together a lot in the past few months.
What, like 4 projects?
Yeah, I think
3, 4? 4.
4.
I'm saying
Yeah.
4.
We'll go with 4.
Yeah.
Anyway, and he is awesome. So I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself. So Thang, just share kind of what you do, what you like to do, and where you're from, and anything else that you think people need to know about you.
Great. Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. It's really fun to be here. I think I love podcasts. I love doing this, so I'm super happy to be here and talk about this with you. My name is Thang. I am a graduate film student at Savannah College of Art and Design at the Atlanta campus. I am a director primarily, but I also DP, edits, and I sometimes try to write. That's probably where my weakest, place is right now. So
but you're working on it.
I'm working on it, yeah. And what I want to do is I want to open my own production company. That's obviously a long-term goal, and build my own A24, if you will. But right now we're focusing a lot on video productions and things of sorts. I have a company with 3 other partners. Those are great guys, and so hopefully in the next couple of years we'll start making our grounds through the film industry in Atlanta, maybe branch out a little further. We'll see where it goes. We never know where this industry takes us. So that's kind of where I am right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to you about this today because, so literally y'all, he just came from a set straight to my house, which is the only reason why I'm okay with you being late. Busy is blessed, I like to say, but it also gets to a point where it gets really difficult. So, and I think it's also interesting. I wanted to kind of approach this conversation from both in front of and behind the camera. For you, within the industry, when you get to that point where you're like, I am completely overworked, I'm completely burnt out, what does that usually look like for you? And have you figured out why that tends to happen?
Yeah, It's still something that when it comes to overworking and being burnt out and things like that, I'm still kind of in the process of figuring out how to deal with that and recognizing when that is approaching. Because we're at the stage of our lives where we live in a hustle culture, right? Like everybody's like, hey, hustle, you're gonna work hard, and as much as I support that mentality, and I still do, there is definitely a balance that you have to find in some capacity. What I found a lot of times when I'm overworked is that I started building expectations and putting those expectations on people. Like if I work this hard, you have to work the same amount.
Right.
And sometimes that's very unfair.
Sure.
And then sometimes you create this situation when you butt head with your partners and whoever that you're working with, and then you started making a lot of decisions instead of a few good decisions.
Yeah.
Right? You ended up doing a lot of just a bunch of rushing things and trying to get things done. And we made some really good projects, and I'm very proud of them. But there's always a moment that, hey, I wish we spent a little time and a little care into this thing to get it to where we believe that it could be.
That's so good though that you know.
Yeah.
So you can kind of watch your mood and you're like, okay. I think it's not so much for me that I expect everyone else to work as hard as I am in that moment, or that's not the thought that goes through my head. It's more like, I don't have time to talk to you.
Right.
I don't have time to show you how to do this.
Right.
I don't have time to get you up to speed with what I'm doing because I'm so overwhelmed right now that I just have to keep going.
Yeah.
So I think it's in the same realm, but a little bit. I'm just I just have to go and get done. And if you're going to get on board, great. If not, bye.
Part of that process you love too. I love the adrenaline that I am on set. I'm working constantly. Like last weekend we shot a fashion film and we were on set for literally me and a few core members of that group was literally had a 18-hour stay set. And I was wrecked the next day. But I loved every minute on set. I was people could tell you that I was literally pulling my hair out. My little fucking black turtleneck would have, hair falling over it because I was so stressed out, right?
If that's not a sign,
yeah,
I don't know what.
This is such a hard thing to balance because I also love that. Like, there's a part of it that every minute of it,
you're in the zone.
So adrenaline. The adrenaline is so high that you love every minute of it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so it is a tough thing. It's a tough thing to find a balance to.
Yeah.
Because I also think that overworking yourself also makes you less interesting.
Absolutely.
Because I found that now when my friends, whom I don't know from the film industry, would ask me, "Hey, what have you been up to? Like, how are you doing?" They would, I would have nothing else to say other than, "Oh, I've been just working, doing films."
Absolutely.
I have nothing else to share.
A lot of people think if they're not constantly working on their craft and on getting more opportunities and that kind of stuff, then that they're failing or that they're not working as hard as they could for their career.
Right.
And I'm like, for us as artists, no matter what side of the camera you're on, no matter what your job is, if you're in this industry, you can't keep going long term if that's your only focus. Like,
film is hard work. It's long hours, it's strange hours, it's physically draining, it's mentally draining.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what position that you're in.
Yeah.
It's just a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when you're working at the stage where there isn't a lot of money behind the craft that you're doing, right?
Yes.
So it's a really tough balance to find again. To say, okay, I'm not there yet, so how can I not work right now? Like, I can't possibly think about not working because I'm not making films that are making money yet. I barely get paid for what I do, and so it's like, how do I justify hanging out with my friends?
So when we go to networking events, you get the same kind of formula for most people when they're first meeting you.
Right.
What agent are you with? What classes are you taking here? Who'd you get your headshots taken with?
Yeah.
What projects are you working on? What projects do you have coming up? What are you auditioning for? And it's getting to the point now where my challenge to myself is, if I find that I'm in that kind of conversation when I'm meeting new people in the industry, I'll entertain it for like the first couple questions, and then Have do like a drastic shift and ask about anything that has nothing to do with the industry.
You know what's funny? I have the exact same method. I don't even end, like, the first question that I try to ask everyone else, "Are you happy?"
Aww.
I say, "Are you happy?" Because I feel like that's a good way to connect to people. And sometimes it's so much about, like, "Hey, what do you do and how can I squeeze something out of you?"
Right, it's all about, like, the transactional.
Like, are you an important person? Am I gonna get something by working out with you? And if you're not, then sometimes people are just like, "Oh, wow, that's great."
Yeah.
And then, like, the conversation goes away, and I hate that.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think we forget that, like, obviously there are always exceptions, but for the most part, anyone in this industry is gonna have a pretty interesting story to tell.
Right.
And is gonna be someone who is interested in storytelling.
Right.
So I think,
hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so.
And it's also tough because it's like, now the first thing people would do after a conversation like that would be like, "Oh, are you on Instagram?" Yeah. And as much as I think it's a good way to network, it's good to keep track of people, and kind of like, it's a good way to see, oh, this guy like work and whatever. But it's just starting to feel a little bit more inauthentic the more that we do it. It's just gotten very easy. I think it's gotten very easy to not hang out with people.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I can see what they're doing online, so I'm not going to hang out with that person. And because I feel like there's, I'm sure you relate to this too. I probably had countless amount of times that you vibe with the people hardcore on a networking event, on a set, on a bar, on an event, whatever. And they're like, "Yo, we should totally hang out." It's just kind of like the version of musicians which would totally jam. It never freaking happened, And so it just gotten so easy to not hang out with people, and I don't know.
Outside of work.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wish that was happening a little more.
Yeah. What I do is if that happens and I'm at an event, I not only get their contact information, but I literally try to plan something for the next week.
Yeah.
Or see what their schedule, and plan it there in person.
Yeah.
And then follow up, because Because I mean, and a lot of it isn't intentional too. You know, we are all busy.
No,
we
of
are all
course.
overworked.
I understand.
So sometimes you'll have all the best intentions, and then it'll just slip your mind. And then, well, I'm so busy, I can't make time for it. But I think it's so important to make time. It really is so important.
It's so important to make time.
Yeah. When you have slow periods, when you do have those moments where there isn't a constant stream of work coming through, what does that look like for you, and how do you handle those periods without going crazy?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't had one of those for a while.
Okay.
Because I fear that space so much. I think one of the reasons why I overwork myself so much is I really hate being on a slow burn.
Yeah.
And sometimes the slow moments are just as important.
Right.
You need to slow down and really take time to yourself. And now I'm kind of trying to find that a little bit of just like 2 days of doing nothing. I just want some days to do nothing and just handle my own thing and just watch some YouTube
let
stuff.
your mind decompress
and,
a little.
just let it go. Like, done. I'm not doing. I'm just sort of watching random things on YouTube and just let the day go rot. Yeah. And that will be good.
That'll be very good for you. I think.
But a big part of it is that I don't. But 2 days is enough. I can't really handle a lot more than that because so much of my, I think, self-worth, I think comes from my work.
Okay.
Because I don't know how to value myself on any other things right now.
Yeah.
And I still don't know whether that's a good thing or that's a bad thing. But
I think we can work on it.
Yeah, I think we're going to work on it.
I would love to expand it.
Of course.
To include other things.
But like, you know how some people value their worth in terms of
absolutely.
money and where they are. And, you know, some a kid in high school would think that they value their worth if how many girls they date or whatever. All that parts. But
I feel like it shifts throughout our life.
Yeah. Some stays and whatever. But where I am right now, I think I value so much of my self-worth in the work that I do and that I feel that I'm a valuable asset on a movie set or whatever that might be.
And that makes you feel great.
And it makes me feel great, right? And that's being in a community where my contribution is valuable.
Right.
And so if I'm without that, I'm not too sure how I can validate myself. And so I think that's why I fear that space of being slow and not having a stream of work. The one thing that he told me was that you can be up for 16 hours and doing 500 different things and still be bad at time management, right? And that really hit me because that seems like the whirlwind that I've been in. Yeah. I'm just like doing this project, that project, this project. Right. And as much as I enjoy, with videography or video productions, you can branch out and find these things, like look on posts because there's so many posting for jobs and things like that. So I think from the sheer amount of the service that being demanded from us, I think it does give us more room to look for work. Yeah. And like work could exist in so many different ways. Like it could be editing, it could be filming something, it could be photography. I could do headshots, I could do self-tape for people. So there's more room for us to find the monetary support compared to actors, which I think is something that I respect a lot of. I have a lot of respect for actors for that reason because that's why I'm so grateful every time that I get an actor to spend time with me on my sets because I do think that they're giving a lot of themselves. We all are giving a lot of ourselves to do something that we hope that would come with something. Yeah. In a city that's barely up and coming. Right. So it's tough. Yeah. So I'm very grateful to see a lot of actors just also busting their ass. Right. It is an interesting contrast there. Yeah. So I feel like you guys definitely, if you do have a slow period, it's easier to find something. Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you think of a sheer number, right? On a film set, there's like, even in a big set, there's like 20 actors, but there's hundreds of crews. Hundreds of crew members, hundreds of different jobs. Pre-production, production, post-production. There's so many different jobs. And the editing team alone is probably two assistant editors. There's a couple of editors. There's colorists.
Yeah.
So that alone is outweighing.
Gives you more opportunity.
Yeah, if you have the skill set to do those things, then absolutely, like you have more room to look for these jobs availability. When it comes to actors, you guys are all in a pool fighting for these 5 roles that probably get paid minimum.
I feel like the summary of Thang's thoughts for this right now are it's gonna be like your autobiography. Thang Ho, finding the balance. And all of these things.
The answer is always, I don't know.
Yeah.
I sound stupid.
But that's all part of it. You know, like we don't know, and we're on this journey to figure out kind of how to make that work for us, and it looks different for everyone. So well, Thang.
Yeah.
Thank you literally thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing, and you had so many great insights, and I really appreciate you being here.
Glad to share that. Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you about it. It's just fun. It sounds like just another conversation we had. Yeah. So where can people connect with you and find you online if they want to learn more about you and your work? Yeah, my company, a company's name on different social media is Hoka Studios, HOCA Studio.
And I'll link all the links in the show notes as well. Yeah, and my personal is just Yo Thang. And that's it. Yeah. Awesome. We're making, if you're on Vimeo, it's also on Hoka Studio, Instagram, stuff like that. Cool. But that's it. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, we have some fun projects releasing. Yep. We have 1, 2. You'll see my face in there a little bit. That's, both. Yeah. One of them is a comedy. Still working on getting that to festivals and stuff else. Yeah. If it does it very well, we Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you again. And this has been It's a Slate of Mind. I'm Alison. And we'll see you next time.